This is my rig for ART303 Technical Art Applications. I created a sheep rig for a farming game. The rig will be required to graze, grow wool, and be shearable by the player. My master controller is set up as you would expect and is able to rotate, translate, and scale the rig. I also have a switch to toggle the wool with a blend shape. It can be toggled from 0 to 10 on a scale, and you can set it as much as you'd like. My joints are laid out in a hierarchy that stems from the root joint. From then, it goes to the spine, the neck, and the head. The shoulders and the tail are also parented to the root joint and will move with it. However, the hooves are IKs and do not move with the root joint. I modeled this mesh as low poly as possible for limitations set by the media of mobile games. I also have a switch which can hide the mesh if needs be by the animator. My spine is set up in an FK chain and moves the rest of the front body with it, so that the sheep can bend down very easily. I've rigged the tail so that it can wiggle and turn around if the animator so wishes to emote happiness or tail wagging. You can also move the tip independently. The neck can move all the way down to a grazing position. The top of the neck can also be rotated separately to look up and down or to look side to side. I was going to add eye movement in, but I decided that since sheep have such a wide range of vision, it would be easier to just have the neck move so that the sheep can turn and look at the player side on. When the sheep is grazing and the wool count is at 10, I have it set up so that there is a corrective blend shape in. I added this via the node editor and it is controlled by neck rotation and also by the blend shape of the wool. It only applies when the wool is above 1, and you can see in the node editor it is controlled by the rotation of the neck. I can also rotate the top of the neck with minimal deformation whilst the sheep is fluffy. He can look up and to the side. I have limited control over the head of the sheep. Since he is a background character and not the main focus of the game, my sheep can move his nose to sniff things or maybe to graze. He can also move his ears forward and alert, or he can move them down so that he is sad or scared. There are 2 controls in the ears to allow it to be moved up and forward in an alert position, or down and back. When the sheep has its head down, you can also move the nose control to make it appear like it is grazing. In the channel editor, I have hidden scale and translate keys for a lot of my joints. You can see that when I select the shapes, the option to move and scale them is grayed out because it is not available. However, I still have the translate unlocked for the root joint so that I can move my sheep up and down. I also have sticky IKs in the feet so that they stay planted on the ground, even when the whole body moves. I have IKs set up for the back and front legs. As it's a quadruped, I don't have an IK-FK switch. All of the limbs have pull vector constraints so that you can move around the feet and still have the ankle point the way that you want it. You can rotate the hoof to allow ease for the animator. There's a lot of range of movement in the hoof, and I think that the sheep can achieve any movement it would need to walk around and graze in the field. I have a second control for the leg set up on the hip so that I can fix deformation that may occur when the sheep moves its hoof too far. When I was creating my pull vectors, I used a video tutorial called Maya Pull Vector in a Minute by AskNK on YouTube, and I've shown that up here. The front legs also have pull vectors for the knees and are also IKs. You can also rotate the hoofs in the same way as the back legs. I also have a shoulder control for the front leg. My main goal with this rig was to maintain volume in the sheep wool in both states, sheared and unsheared. When I turn my wool blend shape on, I have taken extra care to make sure that there isn't too much deformation on the legs when they move, since this is the main movement that sheep will need. Everything still works as expected, and there's nothing too crazy going on. One of my main concerns with this project was making the sheep look good when it is sheared and when it is unsheared, with whatever volume of wool the animator has it set to. I have made efforts so that when my sheep is posed, it doesn't matter what level the wool is set to, it will still look good with the weight painting that I have done.